Afghanistan could soon run out of food aid for victims of devastating earthquake that killed at least 1,400 people. The World Food Programme says it has limited funding and food stockpiles, enough for only a few weeks. Sunday's earthquake and powerful aftershocks wiped out entire villages in the northeast. Aid delivery is hampered by terrain that's difficult to reach. International funding has dropped since the Taliban retook power 4 years ago. Well, for more on all of this, we're joined by John Aylieff, who is the country director for the World Food Programme in Afghanistan. He is in Kabul. Thanks very much for taking the time to speak with us here on Al Jazeera. Now, obviously, the most alarming and immediate concern is just this shortage of food for people that have been affected. Can you just give us an idea of how bad the situation is right now?
Thanks, Tom. What we're seeing on the ground is utter devastation, a real catastrophe. We have houses razed to the ground, bridges down, roads blocked by landslides. There are still people trapped under the rubble, but others are coming down now to receive assistance, including food assistance from the World Food Programme. But in general, people are just reeling with the shock of human loss on such a large scale and with the sudden destruction of everything they've owned. We met a woman 2 days ago who had lost her husband. 2 of her children were missing, presumed dead, and she was carrying 2 other children under the age of 3 in her arms. She just didn't know how she was going to survive the next few days, let alone cater for those children and feed those children in the weeks, months, and years to come. Hers is the story of tens of thousands of Afghans affected by this earthquake.
So how are you able to help people like her and the children that have been so badly affected by this earthquake?
Well, the World Food Programme was on the ground within hours distributing food. Thankfully, we had stocks in the region, which allowed us to respond so quickly. But we're talking about really rugged terrain here. These are mountainous areas, villages are very remote. Even our off-the-road trucks cannot get through. So we're using every means possible, small pickups, pack animals, and even in some cases, villagers are coming down and carrying food back to the communities. We're using every means possible to reach these devastated communities. What we really need now is air support, helicopter lift to get to people who are otherwise cut off.
You talk about the stockpiles that you thankfully had in place, and we know the Taliban government has been calling for more international help. Do you know if that's been forthcoming at all? Have countries and other organisations rallied to step up here?
There is a lot of interest, and the donor community is trying its best to step up as quickly as possible. But as you said earlier, at the moment, the stocks that WFP has available for earthquake victims will last only 4 weeks. That is not enough to meet their basic immediate needs, or let alone put them on a path to rebuild their lives. Our most critical challenge at the moment, in spite of all the constraints logistically, our most critical challenge is not logistics. It is funding. We need the international community to step up, realizing also that Afghanistan is not just hit by an earthquake now, it's hit by multiple crises at the same time. We've had the forced return of Afghans from neighboring countries. We have a drought affecting more than half of Afghanistan's provinces. And in the last 6 months, at least, the World Food Programme's food assistance is being operating at a level way below a minimum threshold due to aid cuts. The interesting thing about this population was when the earthquake hit, child malnutrition was already at an elevated level because of aid cuts and our need as WFP to tragically reduce assistance to them in the past months. So the earthquake has hit an impoverished, but also very exposed, vulnerable population. And that's why we're in a race against time to reach these people. And that's why we're calling on the international community to provide urgent funding to help us do that.
It seems like the timing of this earthquake couldn't have come at a worse time. Can you just give us an idea of what that means now for the people that are really affected here? What's the reality that they are going to face over the weeks and months ahead?
Once we get to them, which we're trying to do rapidly, there are bleak prospects for this population. We have they're sleeping outside, for example. They have urgent shelter needs. We need to sustain their food supply. And what we've got to remember is winter is coming. Winter in Afghanistan is harsh and devastating. There's usually a peak in child mortality during winter, even in a good year. It's very cold. the population can't sustain itself, and the prospects for these people are very bleak unless we can sustain international assistance to them in the weeks and months to come, at least into next year, giving them a chance to rebuild their lives.
John, thank you so much. We really do appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. That is John Aylieff, the Country Director for the World Food Programme in Afghanistan. Thank you so much.
Don't miss out and get the full picture. Subscribe to Al Jazeera for reliable news and expert insights. Like, share, stay ahead.